People are out here with Haley King hats on and Adam Hamish shirts, and so it's really cool to see disc golf is growing to a point where now there's not just Paul or Ricky, who do I root for?
Exactly.
Now it's 20 players, and the sport really is growing.
What's up, everybody? Johnny Disc Golf here at the 2020 Waco Annual Charity Open with coverage presented by OTB. And I am joined by someone on Team OTB, Miss Paige Pierce. How you doing?
Good. I'm really excited to be here, and like you said, representing OTB for my second tournament of the year. We just announced our partnership, so it's exciting to have a new company that's really been so supportive of me.
You nailed it. Supportive is the right word I always use with them. They've gotten involved with my coverage a little bit last year, and now we're kind of resparking that again this year. And it's cool that they're stepping into the player side of things. The first big question I have for you, and I've been asking a lot of people, how was the off season?
It was really fun, but honestly, it was kind of more hectic than even the year itself. So I traveled to 10 countries, and it was just like, it was so much fun. I had a great time, and got to share disc golf with people through 10 countries and have vacation, but it was just like pretty exhausting. So I feel like I'm still going from last year, and I could use a little bit of a break soon.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that was part of the disc golf tourist program that you and Alyssa really take on. Can you explain what that is and give me what does that look like for your summer?
Yeah, most of it was for disc golf tourist. Alyssa and I, like you said, we started this travel vlog, and we also kind of are trying to just show people that disc golf brings us to so many places, and I think that's the most beautiful part of our community. We get to travel so many places, and with that in mind, we started to plan a disc golf tourist trip where people could come travel with us and kind of experience tour life for a week, ride around in a van to 4 different countries together in the same van. And it was a lot of fun, and we got to see disc golf courses all throughout Europe and just hang out with disc golfers.
No, it sounds like it'd be fun, but that's just the most enjoyable part, I think, of touring, is just hanging out with all the disc golfers in different places. It really is a special thing. Off the off season, or part of the off season, was the logo on your chest right now.
Yeah.
Team Discraft.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of storylines, a lot of people putting words in other people's mouths and kind of taking that narrative on their own. How was that experience for you? Both ending DD and now starting with Discraft.
Yeah, you nailed it. People were just taking things out of context, putting words in each other's mouths. And that's why I decided I wanted to make the announcement how I did. From my mouth, they can see me, and it's not just words on a screen and, just a nude cover photo. I wanted it to be personal and let everybody know, Didi and I had a great partnership, but it was limited. So I just went with the option that was best for me, and Rusko and Eric and all the team wished me the best. And if you think it's right for you, it's right for you. We wish it wasn't the case, and that's what it was. So I just wanted to make sure to tell everybody from my mouth so that people, if they were watching, they know the real story.
Sure. Kind of in that same vein, I believe that you were signed up for GBO and now are not signed up for the GBO. Is that true? And if so, what's the story there?
Yeah, there's not really a story. I actually hesitated to not pull out of the GBO because I thought that was going to be the perception. But it's a conflicting thing in my schedule. I have something I really want to do that's fun. And I don't necessarily enjoy the golf at Jones, so it wasn't a really hard decision for me. But then I started to think, okay, people are going to think it's because it's a DD event. So I actually almost stayed in the event, but I decided to do what's best for me and get a little bit of balance, because like I said, I need a break, and it's going to be a nice, fun off week, and I'll come back from it.
Yeah, well, where are you going to spend? Where in the country are you going to be spending that off week? Because one of the issues for me, where I have to fly out there, is we go straight to the West Coast.
Yeah.
Are you going to be making your way west a little bit?
Yeah. So, first thing during that week, I'm going to be in New Orleans. I have concert tickets for my favorite 2 artists. They're coming together for a 3-night set. So, Yeah,
Is that Marcus King?
Marcus
I knew
King
it. I knew it.
and Billy Strings.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, they're playing together for
Okay.
3 nights in New Orleans, and we got free tickets. So we're going there, and then gonna get a jump on the West Coast swing so that, I can take my time getting there and just, not be. It's like a 30-something hour drive.
It's
and
serious. It's
it
crazy.
sucks to rush it into 2 or 3 days, and you get there and you're like, you can't even move.
Yep. Let's talk about Discraft a little bit. You were sponsored in the past by Discraft some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're back on the team. Two questions. One, are you pulling any discs from your bag? Like, yes, I have my Buzz, my one baby Buzz. And then two, are there any new discs that are in your bag?
To be honest with you, none of the discs in my bag were in my bag before.
Really?
Yeah, I tend to give away discs a lot, and I sell discs. I used to sell them like my backups after the year. If I had it in my backup bin, but it never got thrown all year, I would sell it. And I'm a minimalist. I live in a van, so I just try to offload stuff and just share the love. If it's a beautiful disc and it's sitting in my closet, I just want to give it to someone that would appreciate it. But so I don't really have many of my old discs that were in my bag. I actually sent out a lot of things on Facebook, like searching, does anybody have this disc? And no luck. I got one back, and it's an old Z Stalker that was in my bag. Okay. But other than that, it is old discs, but like the Buzz, the Force, the Nuke, the Zone, everybody loves those and has for years. And so I already knew those and grabbed those back. But also a lot of new discs.
Yeah, is there any new disc that stands out that like, wow, how was I even playing before? It shapes a shot better than some other things?
I think
it's okay if you don't have one on top of your head.
Question. Yeah. It's a really good question. I think for sure I was very pleasantly surprised by the Zeus.
Okay.
I was throwing the Defender, and it was a good, really reliable, super overstable disc. And sometimes I would actually not get the full flight out of it because it was so overstable. I wasn't giving it full credit. And the Zeus is still overstable on the finish, but it gets that full flight. It just goes farther forward. So I'm getting a little bit more distance, I think, this year. And pleasant surprise there. And then my putter, the Fierce, I think, a lot of it has to do with just my confidence and my excitement about the disc. So I feel like excited again on the putting green, and instead of like feeling scared.
Sure. What's that like? I mean, you're putting, I imagine, with the Fierces, and what's it like to have your name on the disc that, potentially your competitors might be putting with something with your name on it? What's that feeling?
It's amazing. It's really awesome to see Drew Gibson throwing it like every hole at the Memorial, and Paul Macbeth's bagging one, Adam Hammis, and Missy Gannon, and Zoe actually made the lead card. She shot 100% inside circle one putting with them, and I played with her at the Memorial. So it was just an honor for one, just to see how supportive my friends are. And, Paul doesn't have to be bagging a Paige Pierce disc. He also has his name on a different Buzz. So it's just really cool to see, again, the community coming together and supporting each other. People are out here with Haley King hats on and Adam Hammis shirts. And so it's really cool to see disc golf is growing to a point where now there's not just Paul or Ricky, who do I root for?
Exactly.
Now it's 20 players, and the sport really is growing.
Fresh switch to Discraft. Obviously, you've been playing with them before. The discs a little bit, in theory at least. But the first tournament you came out and played, Memorial, was record-setting. Maybe the best FPO performance ever. I think it was the third highest single-rated round ever. What was different that tournament? Unless it's just the discs.
I think the biggest part of it was a fresh start. No expectations, no pressures, just me wanting to play good golf. And I've been studying the flights of these discs, unlike I ever have, and I really feel like I know each little angle. Sometimes I mess that angle up, but as soon as it's out of my hand, I know where it's going to land. And that is a feeling that's just gives me so much confidence, and just be able to step up to any shot and just trust it. And I think that's where most disc golfers mess up is when they think about what they don't want to happen instead of when they think of what they do want to happen.
Sure. Last year, this tournament, Katrina, fantastic performance. I believe 12 under was the final score. She was close in the middle there, but she really pulled away at the end. How's your game feeling coming into this tournament? And do you have your eyes on anyone in particular in the field that you think might like come out and challenge you at the top?
I haven't thought about that.
Fair.
Immediately when you just asked that, I thought Missy Gannon. I try not to think about like who do I have to beat. But I just played a practice round with her this morning, and she's been in town for a week, and she's played 6 practice rounds, and it was looking really, really solid out there. She now has a disc with her name on it for the first time ever. So I think she's also experiencing some of that like proudness and confidence. You know, looking down, seeing your name on a disc, you're like, oh, I can make this go wherever I want. And she's ripping it back there, the new Undertaker. So I think her game looks really good right now, and world champion putting right now.
One of the bigger storylines in the off season, you went to Discraft. That was huge. After that wake stopped, Brody Smith kind of entered the scene, and now he's with Team Discraft. He's put out probably more content than anyone in the disc golf scene over the last 2 months or so. Have you had a relationship, or in these last 2 months, have you like built a relationship with Brody? You were in a video with him. What's that experience been like, kind of interacting with such a newcomer to the scene?
Yeah, I was very curious. You know, I knew who Brody Smith was. I've heard his name. I've seen maybe a couple of his clips. I don't really get into the like YouTube rabbit holes. I knew who he was and what he was famous for and all that. But I really didn't know much about him. So when I met him, a little bit before, when he started posting videos and stuff, I'm like, wow, this guy's really loud. He's like exuberant, you know?
Yeah. And
I'm like, you know, this is great. You know, this is great to watch. Why haven't I watched it before? And like, I understood, you know, and then, but I was like about to meet him in person at the memorial. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to want to like be in the same room as him for too long because he's so loud. And like Eric Oakley is pretty loud. And I can only tolerate Eric in small doses, and we joke about it all the time. But Brody was like, it was like such a pleasant surprise. He is definitely as loud as he seems in the videos, for sure, but he's just so passionate about everything he's talking about. And he could be just sitting here talking to you about like this hat right here, and he just really means what he says. And so I think a person like that who's so personable and also just passionate is someone that's good to speak for our sport, you know, and that's kind of what he's doing. He's showing the world our sport, and I couldn't think of a better person.
What's your take on him being on the feature card? I know it's been a fairly polarizing issue online and in person with some people. What's your take on that?
I think it's good. Like I just said, I think he's entertaining to watch, and that's what we're trying to do, is get the sport into more people's homes, right? If they watch coverage and they see Brody Smith on there, hey, that's a lot of people that are going to be like, wow, I could do that one day. Yep. And it's going to be inspirational, and I think it's going to be exciting for the viewers. So I think that the players that aren't excited about it just wish they could be on the card, you know, and I think that the fans that are upset about it, sometimes it seems like they're just searching for something to be mad about. This is a good thing, really it is.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think more eyeballs the better, and it's just eyeballs, so it really does help. One last shift kind of in the scene this year is that the FPO at Pro Tour events is going to be teeing after the MPO. Yeah. Quite a departure from what we've been doing. You know, I go out there to film, and it'll be like 7:30 in the morning that you guys are teeing off. Where are you with that? What's your take?
I think, like you said, the biggest benefit is for the media, right? I'm just saying it cuts your days in half.
Yes, but it's
great. I'm saying this is a good thing, because with the media being, we just said we want to get more eyeballs, right? And so you guys are like the unspoken heroes out here.
Thank you.
If you're welcome. If we were just playing out here and nobody saw it, then, you know, it's not growing. So you guys are actually like that ladder between us and growing the sport. And so I think that it's a real big benefit because now you're going to get to film more cards too.
Sure. No, that's absolutely true. I would say the one downside of it, from a media perspective, is that it's very difficult for me to go film MPO, and then I like to do a couple interviews after the round, and then running back out is like 3 holes left to go. Like at Memorial, it was like 3-4. I mean, granted, you were winning by like 40 strokes, but there's like 3 holes to go, so it doesn't even feel like running out there. So I already can tell I'm going to end up with a slightly less coverage.
Okay.
But I'm still trying to work through it myself. It's so new.
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. But yeah, totally. I understand that too, because as we're playing, we're checking UDisc to see what man is about to win the tournament, and we're like, oh, wait.
Yeah, a stroke on line 17.
Calvin, so it's like we want to be able to watch the men too. So I think that's the big disadvantage in my perspective. Yeah. But I think overall it's good. And I think that you're right. That's a great point. Maybe we should space it out a little bit more. The guys go a tiny bit earlier even, and then you could get back with like 9 holes to go or something.
The beautiful part of this is that it is a learning experience, and the Pro Tour is so willing to kind of like pivot and change with what's working and with what's not working. So I'm confident we will come to a great conclusion by the end of this. One topic, though, I want to touch on a little bit is season goals.
Okay.
You came out, you had a record-setting performance to start the year. Is there any long-term, short-term goals that you have for the season?
I would say most of them are short-term right now. I think the one long-term goal I always have is my sights are on Worlds already. I was thinking about actually after Texas, I just was looking at it today, how much it's going to cost to fly after Texas States. I want to fly to Utah for 2 weeks.
Oh.
And because we have 2 weeks before Jonesboro. So I think, and it was only $133 round trip. So I think I'm going to go to Utah. That's definitely my long-term goal. I haven't played in elevation for a long time.
That is a huge factor.
Yeah, I want to go feel how my discs fly in that air. And I think short-term goals, I would say, are what most occupy my mind. It's just throwing the next round as best as I can and trying to hit that restart button, because it is hard to do, but nothing good comes of thinking of the past or thinking of the future. You just got to play that shot in front of you.
Well, Paige, really, I do appreciate your time. I missed you finishing your round, but thank you for coming back out and doing this. That's all I got for the interview, but I want to give you a chance to say anything you'd like to the fans, the people pulling for Miss Paige Pierce.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Honestly, it's kind of overwhelming at times, like looking through all the messages, and I know sometimes I don't respond for a couple weeks, but I really try to make sure I see them all and let you know that I really am thankful for these messages that come in. So keep sending them. I promise I'll do my best to keep returning the responses. And just thank you for watching this guy's coverage and all the other media coverage. And if you guys ever get a chance, come out to one of these tournaments. It's really fun to see in person also. So go grab a disc, go throw somewhere fun, and we'll see you on a course somewhere soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Paige. Really, I appreciate your passion. I appreciate you doing the interview. Thank you for your time. That's all I've got for this interview. If you at home would like coverage of all things disc golf, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hey guys, thanks for checking out that interview. And thanks again for hanging out a little bit afterwards so I can shout out OTB. Only the best discs. They are fantastic at what they do. They list the flatness and firmness of every disc in stock, as well as $3.95 flat rate shipping on any orders under $75. Man, it's a fantastic deal.